All right, I'll call it 6:30. We'll call the meeting to order. You wanna wait? We don't have a quorum, so
It only can be a workshop if we don't have a
can
quorum.
you open it?
Are we making the quorum on 10 or 12? 12 members, only 10 right now.
Oh.
Right?
You gotta have seven.
We
Okay,
have
I'm
10
just
members
saying.
right
Yeah.
now.
Oh, I thought it was 7 out of 12.
You have to have
Half of the current, more than half.
More than 50.
1 over 50.
1 over
But we
50.
only have 10 members right now.
So it would be 6.
You have 12 positions.
You don't think it can get worse, and it does.
Because if Charlie shows up, then we can have
The
7.
Friends.
Yeah,
a lot of
but
friends.
it's 1 over 50%, right?
But
College.
there's
you have 10, it's gonna be
actually
6.
12 on the board.
No,
Even
there
though there's
isn't.
votes.
2 resigned.
Even though
So
there's
when I was in
vacancies.
college, went
No,
down there a lot.
well,
But
but
I
they
was-
No, no.
can't count them if they can't, they're coming.
Yeah, no one can vote. They can't vote for anyone.
Right, so if you're short, you just counted on what you
We
have.
always had a
on your
place.
board right
Went to
now.
Northeastern.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Plymouth, Mass.
Massachusetts.
It's beautiful there.
So then we have.
Yes, it is.
we
My
have
We
a
have
quorum.
6,
for a while.
if everyone agrees that that's what you can do, but you can't really count what you don't have.
Yeah, but,
We get
Currently,
Is
we're
that
1 of
Carolyn?
10, right?
I spent my childhood.
Are you thinking that Charlie's gonna walk in?
Yeah, I can't.
See, Caroline.
Let it ride.
Caroline.
My trap.
Charlie who? Charlie who?
Charlie,
George.
George. No, I still question that.
Name 2 first names?
No, how many we need for a quorum?
Oh, yeah, I don't know
No.
what the rule is, but
Yeah.
currently we're 4 to 10.
Look at it that
Maybe,
way.
you're right.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
It'd be nice to wrap this up.
I mean,
Yes.
It's not like it's gonna be contentious.
Robert's rules, don't they here?
Yes, they do.
We go by different rules.
What's it say in Robert's rules? We have a copy.
Mom was in a home, my dad passed away.
Yeah, specific.
We had a
You would need to ask the chair.
farmstead here.
Yeah.
It was
In my opinion,
empty.
you need a quorum of the meeting.
Afghanistan.
That's just my
all those
opinion, I could be wrong, not of the members.
Yeah, and I don't.
residents of Virginia. And, Magnus in Virginia, DC, I was right on the border of DC, I was down there. Although my wife's family is from Virginia.
According
She
to
goes
Robert's
around quite
rule,
well.
a quorum should consist of, quote, "as large as can be depended upon for being present at all meetings when the weather is not exceptionally bad."
Well, that's a big that. You never answered the
Is
question.
that right?
There may be, in the statute something as well. Haven't faced this issue before.
Boy, wrote that one.
Just wondering how many seats there are. Two.
So maybe it's part of our bylaws.
I know Suzanne.
We establish what a quorum is,
And I think she's in there.
not Robert's rules.
And then it's Joe Dash. He's right here. And then Tommy down.
So we would say there's 7 active members so far.
Emily, yeah, Emily, and then it would be Denise Snow.
Paul, who's not here, Charlie's here, Suzanne, who's not here, myself,
We
John.
have 7 here, 6 here.
And we have 6 here. So if a quorum is more than 50% of the number that could possibly be here,
Okay.
then we're okay.
No, it's of the committee.
Well, there's only 7
All right,
active
so
members.
we just read the municipal association's website and under quorums, and it says that there's no legal statute approved for it. And it said if you had 1 or 2, you can assume that you can do it with the existing people. If you want to pull it up, you can. But the exact
I'm
words.
not online here, but.
Oh, but that's what it just said.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
I just want to clarify.
Majority of all the members.
Of the members,
is
the
what
existing members,
Robert's rules.
because there's no legal status right now.
Most probably.
So we decided that we have a quorum, and therefore we can open the
Joe
meeting.
Dash.
I like it. Okay.
So I'll say we call the meeting to order at 6:35. And we have, I wanted to take a second and introduce Brianna. She's our note taker, so she'll be here when she can, which is, there might be a period where she's out.
Why?
But welcome. Have you got everybody?
Charlie
down?
Dione.
Why don't we go around?
Emily Leach, nice to meet you.
Denise Knowles, select board representative.
John Orbley, Budget Committee Chair.
Bob Meegan, Water and Sewer.
Joe Dash, budget
We're good, I think someone is just walking in, I think that's the other guy. So now we're really
Yeah,
good.
okay, we'll
There he is.
definitely legal.
Really appreciate
And we got Charlie George. So,
Hi, nice to meet you.
That's the Charlie that was.
the other Charlie.
I'm sorry,
No problem.
sorry to be late on you.
We had a good discussion, we're waiting for you.
How was everybody?
Good, right?
Very well. Brianna,
Denise Knowles, nice to meet you. Select board, yeah.
and Brianna's a note taker. She's new.
Nice to meet you.
So are you retired?
So that's, as far as
I'm pretty active.
roll call, Suzanne Hewer is excused. Paul Cass is excused, and Kim St. Clair is excused. All three had contacted me in advance, and said we couldn't do it. So the first order of business that we have after the roll call is the interview and appointment of new budget committee members. And so what we decided last meeting is that we would put an advertisement out and let people in the community who are interested in serving on the committee put in a letter of interest to the town, and we've received two, and they're both here in the audience. We asked them for a couple of questions. One was, what can you bring to the budget committee to provide to help? And the second was, what you want to do on the budget committee. So I think that both have submitted information, and it was circulated by email, so folks have seen that. Maybe we'll call up the first candidate. Sorry.
Got a question. Okay, it was posted for only one position. Now there's two. Does that make any difference?
We have to accept Jody's resignation before we interview
Yeah.
the position.
Oh,
Just a minor
You
technical.
haven't done it, you didn't do it at the last meeting, it happened after the
It happened
fact.
after, so.
Right.
We should put it up there too, accept your resignation.
Okay, so do you do that by, how do you do
I
that?
would make I'll make a motion that we accept Jody Kern's resignation to the budget committee.
Second by Emily. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any just
So
So I
can
would
we
say
change the
that now you can
candidates from one to two?
abstain, so I couldn't get the word,
Forget it.
the 55 thing. So, I'm sorry, Charlie.
It was posted for only one. Can we change that to two now, since we have two candidates?
So, yes, we can, so you're proposing that we put forward a motion to increase the vacancies or application to two people instead
Yes,
of
since
one?
we have two people, and it was only posted for one.
Right, because when it was posted, there was only one spot, so,
I don't see a problem with it.
yeah.
Two new members.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
accept.
So you have the motion from Charlie to accept the two new members, second from Emily, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? The ayes have it.
Just one dot the i's, that's all.
Sorry?
Just one dot the i's.
Yeah, I got it, I appreciate it. So with that, is there any thoughts before we call up the first candidate? Angela, would you like to pull up a chair and?
Sure.
Sorry, we don't have a chair already pulled up. So, Angela, why don't you just answer the two questions that you answered in your letter briefly, if that's okay?
Could you remind me what the questions were?
Questions?
I have
Questions
a
were,
letter which I could refer to, but I don't remember the
oh,
questions.
why are you interested in being on the budget committee? So, and then the other one is, well, what can you bring? And I think your letter, from my read of it, seems to bring a lot of things to the budget committee, but.
Well, I'm certainly familiar with budgets after 40 years of working in nonprofit organizations, and the letter described what that background is. I did run a large organization for 11 years that grew from 250,000 to over $1 million. You know, on a scale of what the town is, it's kind of minuscule, but we did have the same sorts of issues, personnel and human resources, facilities. What else can I think of? I think those are the kind of two, equipment needs. It's just budgeting around a lot of, state contracts, fundraising. Not that you do much in the way of fundraising, but that was at least an introduction to managing negotiations with individuals and organizations. So state contracts were USDA and Department of Health and Human Services, which I imagine is very similar in terms of process with other kinds of state entities. They all follow a certain set of rules. So that was a big chunk of my 40-year career in nonprofits. I also spent 10 years as a teacher, and I think that prepared me for dealing with all kinds of different people, and it was a good experience to work in classrooms and grow my patience. And most recently, I was not executive director, I was director of development at Star Island Corporation. So was at Plymouth State University for a while, and also at New Hampshire Charitable Foundation. If you didn't have time to read the letter, that's sort of in summary. And in the other positions, it was always as a fundraiser. Although I did have a part in the budgeting process, because my department was always included in those budget conversations. Let's see, why did I do this? I think because it's an important position in the community, and I was willing to give it a go for a year. I mean, this is a vacancy that there'll be an election in March, and so I thought, well, you know, I think if the town needs this right now, I'm ready to step up and do something to help with that part of the process and be available until next March. And at that point, you'll have new candidates and people with perhaps more energy and experience around this particular responsibility. And so I was interested in helping, and also because I'm a member of the Water Sewer Department, and I think there's some synergy between those issues that come up there and what comes up before this board. So that was another element of my interest. You know, a lot of pressure around, isn't this something you'd really like to do? And, yeah.
And you've run before?
I did. I was the next highest vote getter to the last person that filled a position on the board.
Does anybody have questions for Angela? Move
To accept Angela to the budget committee? Is that right?
or nominate, would it be, or?
I don't know what the process is.
I think you would.
We should
think
listen to
We
both
should
and not.
I think you have to.
Yeah, I think
And
that's a
then
good
we'll
idea.
make our decision.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 that's a good idea.
yeah.
All right, thanks, Angela.
Move this thing.
Thank you. I get elected in there 5 years.
Hello?
Peter, right?
Correct.
Well, you sort of heard what Angela just did. The idea was just, what do you, and actually Bob didn't get the bios beforehand, so it helps probably to get a background of what you bring to the committee, and then sort of why you're interested in being on it.
Yeah, well, I'm a Rollinsford resident, grew up here, spent 18 years, left. Spent a good year of my career in Washington DC and overseas, and recycled back here about 10 years ago. So the real reason for wanting to help out is a sense of civic duty. I was asked by a few people to consider, and I opted to volunteer my time if I can be helpful or of service. Worked in the federal government for USAID, did a lot of work with Department of Defense, was a policy advisor for Federal Emergency Management Agency. I know how to manage people, projects, and budgets. Very large, vis-a-vis Rollinsford size, and I understand the challenges of politics and how that goes, whether it's small or large. So if I can be of service, I'm happy to help.
Okay. Questions?
Just, you mentioned the federal agency you mostly work for, what was it again?
U.S. Agency for International Development.
Okay.
We're the largest development agency in the
I
world.
know,
So
I just didn't catch the acronym.
we work a lot with nonprofits.
And I'm assuming third world countries for a share of that.
Developing countries, failed countries, transitioning countries. I was primarily in Europe and Central Asia,
Okay,
although I spent time in South America, Central America.
thank you.
Okay, well, great, that's the interview process done.
It's rigorous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have a motion, we'll start with Angela.
Yes, I move to nominate Angela as a budget committee member.
One second.
Second, any discussion?
Okay, now which position? Not that it matters, they're both only gonna be 1-year term, but we should do it for the person they're filling the slot.
I don't think that makes a difference, you're just filling a slot.
Yeah, I think it's just a,
The person's no longer on there, so you can't reference their name, it's just a slot.
I know it's a slot,
yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, I just don't see that, I don't
No
see
problem.
the need for that, but, any other discussion?
Well, do we have other candidates besides those two?
We had two candidates.
Okay, just two candidates, I don't see that there's much discussion. I think we're pretty fortunate to get two high-quality candidates. I don't see we should deliberate much.
It's a process, Charlie.
I'm not used to the process.
I know, in business.
I'll get
you just
there,
have to
but I
understand.
usually, you know.
So, in that case, I'll take a vote, all in favor of bringing Angela Matthews onto the committee, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Excellent. Do we have a nomination for Peter?
I'd like to propose that we nominate Peter for the second opening for the budget committee.
I'll second.
Second from Charlie. Any discussion? We've been through the discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstain? Excellent. I have just a point of procedure. Denise, how do they get sworn in?
You have to go down to Town Hall and see Kate Nesman sometime when Town Hall is open, and she will swear you in.
I do.
Tough paperwork though.
Damn.
We have other things to discuss, but I thought since we've had so few people, like we need to appoint someone to the CIP, I believe. But I figured we would do that at the next meeting because there are people who might be interested in serving that who aren't here today. So I don't have other business items, except that our next meeting is on May 8th at 6:30.
Do you have your email contact so we can update the email blast? And maybe we need to do Bob too, because he's not getting stuff. I don't know if he's on
Yeah,
there.
and just so you know, we've already scheduled for May 8th, the budget for the water and sewer to fill that open position. So that's coming up on May 8th also. So
If there's conflicts on a,
just so you know.
yeah. Not everybody can make every meeting, but we said it.
That's right.
A while back. So Any other business does anybody have?
Yeah, I do comment, especially with the two new members. I know, I think it was Caroline sent out a note about whether to do training here for the budget committee, which I had watched the videos from last year. I thought they were very good, they were very helpful for me. So I guess maybe, do we want to try, these new, anybody who still wants to go, do we want to try to schedule that and pick a date that's good, or just say, watch the videos out on YouTube? It's a few hours of work.
And Denise, do you know, was that a proposal to actually bring somebody in if we had enough people who were
I
interested?
thought it was,
Like
yeah,
we
but
did
we
last
get
time.
that, yeah, and it is it's a wonderful program, and I think it's better to have the person come in and do it.
Right.
Because
get
then
the
you can ask
questions.
questions
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and hear other comments, so, what I'll do is I will touch base with Caroline on that, just to find out what the cost is, and if it was in-house.
Yeah, I think that was what the offer was.
Yeah.
That was my read of it,
Yeah.
and that if there weren't enough people, that we could go on our own to the training. But I think, I attended it last year and thought it was really helpful, and
Mhm.
I was able to make a connection with the person giving the presentation. I had follow-up questions for her, and it was very helpful to do. So I think that's good. One of the things last year that was a little bit difficult is that the time was, it was like right as soon as we started, and nobody had a chance to really pick a date that was open. So maybe once we confirm that someone can come, we can send out a poll of some sort, we could do a poll or something to make sure everybody can, when the best time is, everybody can make it.
Was it in the evening last time?
Yes.
It was, yeah.
So after work?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and just as it's an all-day program, they said that they were compressing into the 2-hour. So it's a lot of information pretty fast, which is, I think, still worthwhile.
but I think the last time we had other departments and
Yes.
committee members, so there might be some more opportunities to send it out to the other committees and stuff, because of their budgeting process as well, so I'll talk to her about spreading the word throughout them as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would think the department heads and such, if they didn't do it last year, should
That's-
hear it. I
and
think
that's
it'll
what it
just
was,
make
yeah.
everybody work together a little.
Mhm.
Yeah, Chief Ducharme was here, and George was here, I
I
think.
know Mark was here for cemetery,
Yeah.
Mark Kuchar, so, and it was a wonderful program, so.
Thanks for that, Joe. So the follow-up will just be finding out a date.
Yeah.
And any other new business?
The only thing I do need to make sure that the new members have the schedule of all of their meetings, the year schedule that we haven't already put together. Just can I do that for you, or do you do it yourself, or?
I believe it's posted somewhere, but I can easily send it around. I've got a copy of it.
Okay, just so they can keep.
Yep. So why don't I get your emails just to make sure, I know I have Angela's email, I think I have Peter's email. If I can get that, and I'll make sure Caroline adds it. There's a group email, this is budget committee, and it goes to everybody, so you can not have to worry about what you forgot on the list.
Okay, great.
With that, no more new business, I'm hearing a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second from Charlie, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Wrap.
Congratulations, you two.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you for joining the team.
Angela, you're gonna introduce yourself now? That would be pretty funny.
that'd be a good thing.
But it will also
Very
go
much.
up on video
I
tomorrow.
think you both are.
Okay.
It'll be on YouTube.
Better.
Rollins video.
I had surgery, yeah, I had surgery.
Now, they say that
Oh,
So I had to be
yeah,
on-
90% of the time,
Yeah,
they'll pick it
much
up
better.
tomorrow morning.
Budget committee
Yeah.
website. I guess
Yeah.
they brought in a
Summertime.
person.
Time with the good weather.
Yes, yeah, and it's wrong,
But
actually.
they-
Right.
Yeah.
Second from the state coverage.
Yes, so they brought in,
No,
lawyer
it's-
from.
Hey, sorry I picked on you, but hey, congratulations. I know it's not your first.
Oh,
thank you, yes, thank you very much. Oh, we're very excited, very excited.
Oh, you know what it is?
No, it's on the town, it's on the town.
You know it's good for your boy?
Oh, we know it's gonna be a girl.
Oh, it's a girl?
Yeah,
I never asked. You know, there's always.
You got a 50-50 shot.
No, there's three things I hope for. First, I hope it's a girl. Second wish is a boy. But third is the most important. That's all that.
That is all that matters.
I'm weird, I'm sorry, that's the way I am.
Yeah, so just make sure